Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're grinding out bicep curls or muscling the couch across the living room, crushing morning miles, or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, Smoothie King has fuel to help you maximize your workouts, own your recovery, and elevate your game. Give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs with a lineup of delicious smoothies made to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
2:05 here at the corner of 3rd and 49th in Midtown Manhattan. And very quickly, gonna bring in, I referred to it earlier, to him earlier on a promo video. My neighbor here at 77 WABC, Dr. Sky, just sort of giving a little handoff, and I'm grateful for that. Good morning, Doctor.
Well, good morning. Good to be with you, TJ. Always interesting stories that we talk about here as you move into the deep of the night with the other side of midnight. Good to be with you.
And you, sir. And you. And I got to say, you know, since I've been here, and I am the newest kid on the block here at 77 WABC. It is a gift and a blessing to be in such amazing company. The legacy lives on here at 77 WABC,
Absolutely.
The finest in talk radio in the land. And I got to tell you, your show is so good. It is so concise. It is so well produced. And you are such a great host. You are a clinic for a guy like me. And I got to tell you, almost to a fault, because when I'm in here, usually about 2 hours before the show, and I will find myself leaving my show prep and listening to you and your amazing guests.
Well, you're so kind, TJ. I appreciate that. I mean, you know, we all have our specialty out there, but in these subjects, like I, say every week humbly, that our world runs by the sun, and many of us, obviously, the politics of the day is important, but an opportunity to what? Exhale and breathe in. And thank you for the comment, because people are telling me they enjoy this kind of format, talking about the mysteries.
It's magnificent. It really is. And a little bit later tonight, I'm going to actually be having a little UFO conversation.
Oh, great.
With a TikTok creator, kind of a pedestrian street level view of the subject. Somebody with a great interest who's developing a lot of fascinating content on TikTok. And I guess, just to you got to go. You have been operating for 2 hours, and you've got to turn off at some point. But I just wanted very quickly to ask you a little bit about James Lovell, who passed away on, I believe it was Friday. He passed 97 years old. The man was, so much time has gone by since Apollo 13 and his previous flights. But boy, what a legacy he left. What an impact he left on not just the industry and the science and that realm, but on America and the world.
Well, TJ, you're right. Anyone, God bless. Hopefully we all live well into the numbers of the triple digits, but he made it to 97. And, we had this opportunity to interview him a number of years ago, and I passed that interview on to the folks at WAC Newsroom if they'd like to run it, or whoever wants to. We'll run it one day on our show.
Please, yes.
But the thing I learned about him is so interesting. He was a naval aviator. He's a Naval Academy graduate. And when we had the interview, this is something I didn't really know. His big flights, we talk about Apollo 8, that amazing thing. I'll be 70 years young, and I remember when I was a kid living in New York. I'm a New Yorker. I was born in Jamaica, Queens. Always proud to be part of the family of the New York audience, really. And I listened, of course, like you're talking about this great legacy of this radio station. Listened as a child, Cousin Brucey and all the great hosts. But here's the point. When I was that young in those days, there was another mission way before the Apollo 8. And there was a Gemini 7 mission and a Gemini 12. But TJ, this is real quick. This is amazing. Gemini 7, this particular astronaut, Jim Lovell, and another Frank Borman, who those two guys were on Apollo 8.
Right.
But when they did Gemini 7, they did 14 days in orbit, sitting in a little tiny spacecraft that's probably no bigger than a compact car. Can you imagine how hard that would be to do? Oh my goodness!
I mean, that's actually, I think that's part of I think that's an aspect that is lost on all of us and doesn't seem to get the physical demands and the confines and restrictions and constrictions of the craft that they went out in. They weren't out there in something that, today at the International Space Station, these astronauts, I imagine, could go a day or so without having to see the other person if they didn't want to. But these guys were up there in about, 50 square feet. It's fascinating and superhuman.
Right, and to leave out the personal hygiene effects. I mean, think about that problem, which we don't want to think about.
No, we don't.
I mean, you're sitting there, you're eating food out of like what we call like a squeeze thing.
Yes, yes.
All these things of the early 60s and even today, dried food.
Right.
But that's amazing. And then he was on another mission, Gemini 12, with Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon.
Yes.
That happened in 66. Gemini 7 happened in 65. But then the two legacy flights. Imagine that. The Saturn V, TJ, was launched only a few times, and this was the first big mission where you put 3 astronauts to go to the moon, and there was a lot of controversy about whether or not to send that rocket with 3 humans to go around the moon, but they did it for one simple reason. They knew the Russians were actually, the Soviets at the time, were going to try to beat us, and in those days, that was a hot topic. Ask Jack Kennedy, right, in his speech about getting a human to the moon, a man to the moon, and returning him successfully back to the Earth and safely before the decade is out.
Oh, man, you are so good. You have got such a way about you, Doc. Listen, I'm going to let you go. It's asking so much to after all those incredible hours of broadcast to be asked to stick around. Thank you so much. And
my pleasure, TJ, and always wonderful to listen to all the great commentary on the other side of midnight. And God bless. And remember one thing, everybody listening, of course, around the world, take a good look before the sun rises, both Sunday morning, again, and Monday morning, just before the sun rises in the northeast, the most amazing conjunction of Venus and Jupiter. They're bright enough to be seen in city lights. They're about a degree apart. That's a nice conjunction to watch.
Fantastic. Everybody, Dr. Sky is on every Saturday and Sunday morning from midnight to 2 a.m., leading up to yours truly. And again, Doc, thank you so much. I'm grateful for the time. Beyond.
My pleasure. Thank you, TJ.
All the very best. And there goes Dr. Sky. And truly, really, I tell you what, I mean, that is a pro. The man, I mean, talk about hitting marks. And conducting a radio show with a great combination of ad-libbing and free form within a great structure that is tangible and accessible, especially when you're talking about the subject matter that Dr. Sky engages in with some truly intense guests who know their stuff. That's why I was really exceptionally grateful for him sticking around, because that's a high level to maintain for 2 hours of broadcasting. And so thank you, Dr. Sky, for that. And, great stuff. What a great team to be a part of. Good morning, everyone. Once again at, 13 minutes past. It's, another side of midnight. And, so, what are we talking about? Well, let's see. That really, and, that really is something else. That does get lost on me. And because I happen to have been reading a bit about, Jim Lovell and, their time in space, especially on that, Apollo 13 mission where they were basically stuck, the famous, Houston, we have a problem. And, the confines and the technology that they had. I mean, the big thing that came out of those missions was what? It was Tang and, dehydrated whatever. Like he said, food that, they'd eat pancakes, squeezed out of a baggie. Roast beef reconstituted. I don't know. But, I wouldn't bring it up. I would bring it up with Dr. Sky, I would definitely bring up with Dr. Sky my misgivings or my lack of not belief that we went to the moon. And I'm not like getting cute and because now he's off the phone, I'm bringing it. We just didn't have time. But if we were to do a proper broadcast together, I would absolutely say to him, Doc, this is what I've got to be this is what has to be explained to me. And that is, I get that we got up off the earth. I get the rockets were firing. I get all of that. I get the program was up there, out, orbits. Okay. I even buy the idea that we could have landed on the moon successfully. Where I lose my faith. Now, again, I'm not saying that I'm just rock solid, don't believe, I'm going to die on that hill, I'm going to plant my flag, and that's it. You know, assume the Captain Morgan pose, and that's it. We did not go to the moon. I'm not there. But I have a really difficult time believing that we were able to get back up off the moon and fly back. That's where I get lost. That's where I cannot imagine the technology in the 60s when we were still communicating on rotary phones and it was pressed vinyl. You know, there were still people from the Civil War living. And we went to the moon. Again, this is not meant, clearly, I'm not being disrespectful to Dr. Sky or his genre at all. No, I love that genre. It's just from now again. And here too, by the way, like I said, we're going to be talking to UFO Hunter Jim. That's his name. Go check him out on TikTok. Very, very, very fun stuff. He's a really up and coming UFO content creator on multimedia platforms, mainly TikTok. UFO Hunter Jim is his handle. And that, I'm all in. I believe everything. Look, I believe all of it when it comes to UFOs and UAPs and Area 51 and Groom Lake and the Janet flights and all that stuff. I believe it. I'm in hook, line, and sinker, both feet, all in full consciousness. I absolutely stipulate that all that is happening, there is intelligent life that is out there and visiting us. I am all the way in on our planet having been visited, our planet being one of thousands of examples of intelligent life. Air quotes to an extent around intelligent life. And yet, interestingly, I have a hard time believing that we came back, that if we went to the moon, that we could have made it back. That's all. And I just need that last push intellectually. Somebody to show me, well, no. This is how we were able to make that happen, even with that technology. So anyway, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC is the number. And, as you know, and, so last night we were talking about, Jasmine Crockett. She is that really classy, representative from Texas. Everybody's favorite diva. And she's being called out by members of her staff for being, a diva, and for being an impossible, mean boss, for being a bully and being a slacker. I mean, really, forget being a bad boss, she's a bad worker. It seems, and this is all from her staff, it seems that she is, almost never in the office. She lives in one of the most expensive apartment buildings adjacent to Capitol Hill. And what she's being accused of, and I like it, it's very nice and tight and concise. She's basically being accused of being more focused on being a content creator, being a viral TikTok presence and Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. And her response, she was on CNN, and her response, this dimwit, she's so stupid. She basically gave credence. She gave some credibility, rather, to her critics and her accusers. So Jasmine Crockett, this was in yesterday's post. Jasmine Crockett invoked Beyonce and laughed off these accusations about her. The congresswoman erupted in laughter when she was asked about the report during an interview on CBS, not CNN. Major Garrett. He used to be on CNN. We went from one sinking ship to another. Way to go, Major. And she said, "Oh my goodness." Now I'm going to demur and not do my impersonation of Jasmine Crockett. Although my 13-year-old would probably do a killer Jasmine Crockett. I bet you she could. She says, "Oh my goodness, listen, I know that I have arrived, honey." That's what she said. This is what the gentlewoman from Texas, this is how she expresses herself. So sophisticated. "Oh my goodness, listen, I know that I have arrived, honey." And then after composing herself of clearly manufactured faux laughter, she says, "That is the way I see this." She says, "Because as Beyonce says, if they're not talking about you, then obviously you must not be doing anything." So there it is. I mean, this is what we've got. And this is typical. I gotta say, I can't remember the last time that I was wowed by the intellect of an elected official. There's a few exceptions. And when I say the wow thing, I know a few of them that already impressed me. People I've worked for in the past. Mike Lawler, the congressman from Rockland County who represents the Hudson Valley. Mike Lawler is very, very smart. The guy he was valedictorian of his class and at Manhattan College. Mike's very intelligent. I know there are intelligent people, but that are elected officials. Clearly, of course there are. But there are more Jasmine Crockett's in public office than not. Some of the most vapid, windbag, empty suits that I've ever met anywhere populate the legislatures of states around the country that I've met. New York in particular, Republicans and Democrats. I have met some truly dopey Republicans who have been elected into the New York State legislature. Another exception is Matt Slater. Thank God these two guys are my representatives. Matt Slater's a New York State legislator. We've had Ari Brown here on this show, on this program. Ari Brown is clearly on top of things. Sharp. But there are more Jasmine Crockett's than any other types. Self-centered, narcissists, never particularly have anything to bring to the table, looking out for numero uno and their own well-being and their own Q rating and all that stuff. 1-800-848-9222. What do you think we do about that? I guess it's the certain type. We want public service to be a calling, and yet the people that are willing to go for it seem to generally, a lot of times, do it for the wrong reasons. They do it for self-importance. They do it because it's a means to an end in terms of potentially enriching themselves, getting connections, eventually getting themselves on a board somewhere, some sort of CEO position or that sort of thing, consulting or speech making, that sort, So, I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm wondering how do we navigate this Jasmine Crockett generation of elected officials? And I don't know if you're older than me. Has it always been this way? I don't know. I mean, yeah, look, Joe Biden was 140. So, I'm sure there were a lot of empty suits back then. And now, look, there's Jasmine Crockett, who's clearly also very thick. She's not particularly smart. And she's full of herself, and she's lazy, and all the Nancy Pelosi. When is the last time you saw Nancy Pelosi seem anywhere near connected to reality? When is the last time Nancy Pelosi was able to just tear through a sentence? Kathy Hochul is one of the luckiest human beings on the planet. The woman was a backbench congresswoman. She was like a county clerk who I think accidentally became a congresswoman. And then Andrew Cuomo made her his lieutenant governor specifically because she was non-threatening, she was a woman, and she was thick. A dim bulb, as I have described her here in this program more than a few times. Dim bulb purposely picked by the thug-in-chief. It's 2:25. Let's go to Al on line 2. Al in Yonkers, good morning on line 2. Hey.
Thanks for taking my call. Just a couple of things quickly I wanted to point out to bring to the conversation you had with Dr. Sky.
Yes.
What was really great about the landing on the moon is, the 60s were such a turbulent decade. Probably one of the worst decades, if not the worst, in the 20th century. We had Vietnam. We had the assassination of Martin Luther King and the Kennedys.
Yep.
We had the riots. So it was a real triumph in the 69, leaving, the 60s behind, that we were able in July of 69 to put the men on the moon, Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
And I'm happy, back in 1982 when I was a younger guy in grade school, I took an autograph collecting class. And I have actually, from 1982, an autograph from Neil Armstrong.
Whoa.
And one day I'd like to sell it to a philanthropist who likes space.
That's a nice touch. I like that.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to mention, later you're going to be talking to an expert about UFOs, and you mentioned Area 51.
Love it.
I remember when I was young. Yeah, I remember when I was young, back in the 80s, there was this show, I believe it was called Unsolved Mysteries.
Sure.
And there's been speculation and rumor by people that Harry Truman, Secretary of Defense at the time, his name was Forrestal. I forgot his first name. He went to Area 51.
Groom Lake.
They said that he's what's that?
Groom Lake is
Groom Lake.
Yeah. Groom Dry Lake, I believe. Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's great. I just know Area 51.
Yeah.
They say he went. He saw the Martian who conspirators say survived, and he actually lost his mind. They say not too long after that, he jumped to his death.
Woof.
So you might want to ask that question to the person later, but I had heard that story years ago.
Dude, that's a rabbit hole for me. Hold on. That's what I'm going down to the Jersey Shore after the show, and I think I'm going to find me something on Kindle to take to the and read on that. I got to look all that up. I have never heard any of that before, and I've been interested in that genre for like a long time, Al. So thank you for dropping that on me. I will absolutely bring that up a little bit later.
Yeah, I never read it. I just saw it on a show in the 80s.
Oh, I got to find
Mysteries.
that. I
forgot the name of it.
Yeah, I think that was
I remember they mentioned that and it always stuck with me.
Oh, yeah. No, how doesn't it, right? Excellent. All right, Al. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, dude. Talk to you later. Yes, take care too. Or take it easy. Darn, what was he going to say? Was I supposed to take care or take it easy? All right. Either way, I'll take it. All right. It's 2:29 coming up on 2:30. Clearly, like I've got to do that math for you guys. I'm sorry. I have to really make sure that I don't do that radio stuff. I must, when I do that, if there was some way to sort of hook me up, already last night, I implored Tony to come in here and slap me when I referred to this show as during the night because it's in the morning. So again, Tony is completely empowered to do that. Bill wouldn't. I don't think that's in his nature. I think Tony's just looking for a reason to come in and slap me. So I think anyway, if I could somehow figure out a way to electrify myself when I do typical radio things like saying, hey, it's 2:29 coming up on bottom of the hour. If I can't do that. And I'm sorry in advance. I apologize in advance. I'm working on those little odd idiosyncrasies. Anyway, so it's 2:30 in the morning, and this is Another Side at Midnight. And when we come back, we'll talk to John appropriately out in Nevada. And looking forward to that. Okay, good, gang. It's 1-800-848-9222. When we come back, after we talk to John, there was something that I wanted to get to yesterday morning. Some creepy stuff about deploying or employing AI technology to allow people to not just remember deceased relatives and loved ones, but to actually talk to them, to interact. I don't know what my comfort level is with this. I'm gonna, when we come back, I'm part of that conversation. I'm gonna clue you into a couple of my deepest, darkest fears and see if you guys relate at all. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm TJ. This is Another Side of Midnight. 1-800-848-9222. Definitely join the conversation, please. Just like John did in Nevada. When we come back, we will speak to him. 77 WABC. We'll be right back.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist T.J. McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's T.J. McCormack.
Good morning. Good morning to you. Hi. T.J. McCormick. It's Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC as I sing terribly, so badly into the microphone at 2:36. I can get into a rut. So I'm just going to pull myself right out of that and not continue. It is 2:36 in the morning, and it's the best time of day to be doing this kind of radio because, again, our minds are open. We're willing to accept anything, and we're willing to walk ideas around the block before we dismiss them. And so we're talking a little bit about the UFO thing. We're talking a little bit about the outer space thing. And before we talk to John and Rich, just real quick, this story is about how living forever is going to be possible, at least in the sense that, I mean, look, you can watch home. Jet! Paul McCartney he's not dead yet. I was just going to say he came back from the grave. Oh boy, I hope that doesn't happen now. Oh boy. But yes, you can always go back and watch home movies and watch Grandpa and Uncle Steve and people who have passed away, and whether it's a really old movie and they're waving at the camera, or a wedding and people are passing around the microphone and hello and congratulations to the bride and groom. It's been a wonderful event, a fabulous time we're all having here at Marina Del Rey, looking out. The band is not as good. The band is okay. All right. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm going to give it to your mother. Hello. We love you. We love you so much. Give us lots of grandchildren. Go, you know, how I'm still not comfortable with the fact that I have children. That means my parents know that I've had sex with my wife. That's how my brain works. When I usher my daughters in to see my mom and dad, an 15th of my brain goes, oh God, they know I had sex with her. Is that normal? Did I actually just ask if that's normal? 1-800-848-9222. So yes, so this company, an AI company, probably out in California, has basically what they're doing is they're taking compilations of interviews with people who are sitting for interviews. They are being asked a number of particularly worded, wide-ranging questions about myriad issues and subjects so that AI, in due time, and especially over the course of time as AI improves, artificial intelligence can create a database and images so that people can in years from now, they can actually sit for a conversation with whoever, I don't know, loved ones, friends, kids, I don't know, friends, Romans, countrymen. And so the guy says, the CEO of this company says, I want to provide future generations with the opportunity to ask me how I lived and how I succeeded. Well, that's a little cocky. I would think, ask me how I lived and where I screwed up. You know what I mean? Forewarned, right? Maybe I can be a mentor. That's what excites me. That's what excites him. All right. Well, yeah, we have another conversation coming up about what excites people in America. There's an interesting poll out there. No pun intended. They provide answers to a wide, okay, so there it goes. So I don't know about this. On the one hand, it's just completely fake. We know that you're going to know the person's dead. You're going to know they're not actually answering your questions. It's all theater. It's all theater. Matter of fact, what we're talking about here is like a hologram of grandpa. This is everything old is new again. Is this kind of like the Hall of Presidents? Is this kind of like the Hall of Presidents at Disney? Where like an animatronic granddad, and how accurate is it going to be? If my grandchildren are going to want to talk to my dad, is the hologram of my father not going to be able to hear the questions? How realistic is it? Will the hologram of my father be deaf on one side of his head, just like my dad? So this is the kind of this part of the article is what got me. There's a comedian and a podcast host in Pennsylvania, a guy named Jason Gowan, who's battling colon cancer. Right away, there's a gut punch, right? And I'm like, ooh, oh no, one of my fears. It's all about me, of course, right? Narcissistic alcoholic. Yes, I'm reading a story. Guy's fighting colon cancer. I make it about me. Ooh, this makes me uncomfortable. But you know, at least I know how liberals think. For weddings and graduation, blah, 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 birthdays, my children will be able to speak with me. This guy is preparing. He's preparing for his death. That is such bravery. That is such bravery. Remember that movie with, what's his name? Michael Keaton, about the guy who was like making videos and everything and leaving a legacy. You read this and you see these real troopers out there, these people who are battling or have basically acquiesced to the idea that they are in a losing battle. And they start preparing their kids for, writing them letters, open this on your graduation, open this, read this for your wedding. Oh my God. I am just not built for the tough stuff, gang. And again, I'm not making this about me. I am genuinely making this about the brave people because they are so brave. But again, and his wife, this guy is battling colon cancer. His wife suffered a stroke after childbirth. You ever know those families that just can't catch a break? How about those families? You know? Your wife tells you, oh, so guess who got into a car wreck? Oh, don't tell me. And probably that. Yep. And it's them. And so got diagnosed. And so, oh man, life can just suck. Right? 1-800-848-9222 on Life Sucking. Give a call. John in Nevada, line 1. Thank you so much for hanging in there. That was a bit longer than I had wanted you to hold on. I'm sorry about that. Good morning.
Good morning, TJ.
Hello.
Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Mayor Hilliard in Dolton, Illinois.
Mm-hmm. You know what? By the way, you know what bugs me about the first two? They're kind of pretty. And that annoys me.
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly the point I want to make.
Oh, wow.
TJ.
I didn't know that. Okay, go.
Is that the rise of style over substance
yes.
really has its roots in the Kennedy-Nixon debates.
Uh-huh.
Kennedy was younger and better looking to start with.
Right.
But his handlers had him wear heavy makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And he came across looking a million times better than Nixon.
Yep.
And that's why he won that election.
Yep.
That was the start of it. Santos is another one, a Republican example of style over substance.
Yeah.
And that has unfortunately become popular in America. We've benefited sometimes. Both Schwarzenegger and Trump were inexperienced guys. And it came across real good on TV, and we got fortunate. Schwarzenegger saved California a fortune, and Trump was an awesome president, and his second term is even better than his first term.
Oh, he's killing it. He's killing it.
So we've benefited in some cases.
Yep.
But generally speaking, you are kind of taking a risk when you go with style over substance.
Hey, dig this.
With Trump and Schwarzenegger, we were very fortunate.
Let me ask you this one, John. Okay, and Rich, stay there. I see you, buddy. I see you, Rich, in New Jersey. John, tell me this. Here's one on the Republican side. I'm trying to be intellectually honest here. Okay, here's a style and a substance. Yes, talking about women, because I'm trying to think of like a Kennedy-esque Republican dude, and I really can't think. But we've got Nancy Mace from South Carolina. She's running for governor, and and I've already professed my affection for Kristi Noem style. But I think they do. I think Noam has a lot of substance. But somebody like Lauren Boebert, not a ton of substance there. She's right, but she's attractive. She's got this character about her that makes her clickable and she can go viral, sometimes for the wrong reasons in theaters.
Yeah, Lauren Boebert had some family problems. I feel bad for her.
Yeah, me too.
Nancy Mace, I'm a big fan of.
Okay.
On the transgender issue, I've known some successful transgenders, but I've known a lot that were drug addicts.
Yeah.
But the thing with Nancy Mace is a lot of people don't know the story of her reporting the guy she was involved with who was secretly recording videos of women in compromising positions and sharing them with her friends. Mm-hmm. She stood up and did the right thing. She's a strong person.
She's tough as nails.
Yeah,
I just wonder sometimes if she's
not. I saw her
not.
announcement for the gubernatorial race last week, and I'm real excited about her.
Yeah, and look, I do fear her. I mean, I'm sitting here saying it. I'm like, oh my God, is somebody going to get word to her that this guy with a big mouth on overnight, and she's going to call me up and chew me out? But I guess my concern is that sometimes that she's not playing for the camera. And look, John Kennedy from Louisiana, he absolutely plays to the camera with his little witticisms and down home, aw shucks type of, stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, Bill Clinton was good at that. Bill was very good on camera. He made a point of at least once a month doing a photo op when he was president coming out of church. I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, so I've been watching Meet the Press since I was like 4.5.
Wow.
And Bill Clinton was a master of public relations. Him and his people had photo shoots almost every day of Bill in a good light. They were masters of it.
Interesting stuff. John, thank you as always for calling the show. I got to jump, got to take a quick break. Thank you, buddy. Be well out there in Nevada. Rich, you hang in there. We're going to take our quarter of the hour here. I'm a couple minutes late on it. Stay right there, Rich. We shall get back to you. It is Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormick on 77 WABC. We'll be right back.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormick.
On 77 WABC, I'm TJ, and sitting here talking to Rich in New Jersey. Good morning, Rich. Thank you for hanging on.
Hey, JT, couple things. Maybe be patient. Just watching CNN before, and they were talking about John Kennedy Jr., how he was being groomed to be whatever president.
Right.
And they had a scene about Bill Clinton at a town hall talking to the young people. I guess they were millennials at the time. And the woman says, he caught my attention. You know, I was walking down the street the other day. I saw a pretty woman. I don't want to get into it. She caught my attention, but I got that thought out of my head.
Okay.
You know, how many people in your life catches your attention? But anyway, here's I have a book. I keep a notebook with me, and I go through my day. And I got up this morning. The second thing I did was I fought the war on hunger. I made myself some breakfast. Because when I went to the ShopRite, I saw a sign that says, help fight the war on hunger. Well, we do that every day.
For ourselves.
I go to the ATM, I get money, and I buy food.
Yes.
And here's another thing. I take my cable box back to Optimum. I'm standing in line to give it to him, and he says to me, do you want to take a survey? I said, for what? The customer service. All you did was take the box.
Say that again. Wait, take that one from the top. I like your material. Take that one from the top. Say that one again.
I'm taking the cable box back to Optimum.
Oh, that's always an
standing in line,
and
I give him the box. He takes it.
Right.
And he says, do you want to take a survey? I go, for what?
Right.
Well, because of my customer service.
Right.
I'm going, all you did was take the box. What are you talking about?
Right. Hey, listen, man. Hey, by the way, now, were you leaving Optimum or were you upgrading
No, just taking one of the boxes back.
Have you ever tried to and by the way, this is talk radio right here. Have you ever tried to cancel cable service? That is an odyssey. That is a rabbit hole that one can go. You can be, it took me about 6 months to finally cut the cable and only have internet from my provider. It took me 6 months because I had to work up the chutzpah and the moxie and the courage, and if there were other Yiddish words that I could use, I would, to go with the chutzpah and the moxie. If I could, I had to work up the strength and the intellectual fortitude, Rich, to call up and run through the gauntlet of, well, what if we did this? How about this? I can send you over to retention. I can do it to loyalty program. And because I've tried in the past, and either they have sweet talked me into staying, or I would just give up and just hang up, and I'd be stuck with my cable for another month. That's tough. They have got those people trained to retain you.
And then they ask you at the end, is there anything else I can do for you? Or do you have any questions?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Is there life on other planets? Any questions? You know, stuff like that.
That's perfect for this show. Yeah, no, you're right. It's, and that thing about the survey is, you know, I very often I say yes, but I never do it. I say yes because I want to make them feel like I care.
Well, I got a survey from Newbridge when they took the catheter out. That's another story.
Oh, and your catheter. That's right, Rich.
Yeah, remember
catheter. Oh, yeah.
That's so undignified, but that's another story.
My eyes are still tearing from your story. I can't imagine.
You remembered me.
Oh, yes. Now I do. Good Lord.
I captured your imagination with that story, by the way.
You did, and I don't need a notebook to write that down. Rich, thank you so much, buddy. Thanks as always.
I'll call you again. Okay.
Please do. Definitely do. Thank you, Rich in New Jersey. Rich is a classic You know, this weekend, it's been real nice we had some really great classic radio callers. And actually, I had a lovely conversation. I had the honor to do my best to hold down the fort for Lionel on the other side of midnight, on, I believe it was Thursday morning, late Wednesday night, Thursday morning, I came in and, it was an honor to, do Lionel's show. And towards the end of the program, got a call from a lovely, soft-voiced, a little old lady, Lucy. Little old lady in the Bronx. And it was a clinic in New York talk radio. I really felt like it was the confluence of a whole bunch of things making me feel like I had arrived. As I said to Dr. Sky, I'm clearly the new kid on the block here at WABC, and I'm just beyond grateful for the opportunity from Mr. Katz and from Chad Lopez and everybody, all the decision makers here. I'm very grateful. And I'm insanely grateful to you, family, for being there and listening and calling and all the gang on Twitter. I mean, the nicest folks on X. And Lucy represented, I'm in here for Lionel, right? On WABC. I'm talking way into the wee small hours, which is great for talk radio in New York City. And little Lucy, who could have been my grandmother. And by the way, that's when I fell in love with talk radio, was with my grandma in the Bronx, in the kitchen, listening to the radio with, whether it was Bob Grant, Barry Farber, Dr. Bernard Meltzer, Barry Gray. That was the main crew that I remember. And she would babysit me while my mom and dad went out when they still had a social life. And I'd be over there, 5 years old, 6 years old, listening to talk radio. And so many callers sounded like Lucy. And Lucy called right at the end of the show, and she was in the Bronx, and 92 years old. And at that moment, everything came together on so many levels, because I was like, well, it's me and Lucy. I have been getting Lucy through the morning. And Lucy is getting me to the end of the end of that program. And I asked her, I said, Luce, you're listening to me on a real radio, aren't you? And she said, yeah. I said, there's a dial next to your speaker. You're not on an app. And she said, what's an app? It was the sweetest moment. All right, gang. Some more sweet moments coming up the rest of the show. When we come back, we're going to talk to UFO Hunter Jim. UFO Hunter Jim. Check him out on TikTok. He's got a really cool channel there. And we'll be back after the news and have another great hour of broadcasting here on 77 WABC.
This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Hey, how are you? Good morning. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack on 77 WABC. Bill, what's that the theme from? Is that Battlestar Galactica? I like that. All right. Okay, cool. That's perfect timing for this hour. Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. And I'm going to tell you why. And by the way, the rest of the show is going to be a lot of fun. There's more than a few opportunities for everyone to be involved. And the number is always open. It's always open, always ready to go for you guys. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And you're always welcome to join. And a little bit later in the program, I'm going to ask you now, I'm going to throw it out there, see if you can figure out, what do Lin-Manuel Miranda, Barbra Streisand, Jimmy Kimmel, and Lindsey Graham, what do they have in common? What do those people have in common? See if you can chew on that. All right. See what kind of thoughts you have on that. Plus, we're also going to talk at some point about the Queens shelter that New York City has built. It's been in the news for a couple of days now, but New York City built and is opening a shelter that is solely for trans homeless. And in conjunction with that story, I've got an update. I don't know if y'all remember, but I was telling you a story about a man named Jim. Don't do it. Don't get the music. Don't, Bill. A poor mountaineer. I was telling you the story about the trans, it's not even a trans dude at the pool, my neighborhood, my community, whatever, where I live, my development, we have a pool in our development, our housing, whatever, our house. What do you call that? Our neighbor? It's not a neighborhood pool. It's whatever. We have a pool. And a dude showed up in a bikini. Very simply, dude showed up in a bikini. Not trans, but nuts. And yes, they were there. They were present. Hey, thank you so much. Yes, he's not trans. Clearly not trans. Because everything was clearly intact. How'd you know if you weren't looking? You can't not look. Okay. I'll tell you, I'm going to give you both of those stories at the same time. However, right now, we are joined by a dude, who has a great presence on TikTok. That's where I found him. And, he goes by the moniker of UFO Hunter Jim. UFO Hunter Jim. And, he's an enthusiast, I'd say. Let me bring him on. Jim, are you there?
I am.
Hey there. Good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight with me. It's good to talk to you for the first time, actually. We texted a little bit, and it is the first time I've heard your voice.
Yeah, you too, man.
Cool.
Good to be on the show.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. And you know what I was just going to say is you're more of an enthusiast. And you certainly know a hell of a lot more about this stuff than a lot of people. But I would guess that even you would say you're an enthusiast. You are in this. You're passionate about it more than you would claim to be an expert. Is that fair or safe to say, or am I just totally blowing everything for you right now?
No, absolutely. No, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that's why I want, that's kind of the sense that I got looking at your TikTok feed. And again, it's UFO Hunter Jim on TikTok. And multimedia presence, but right now he's focusing on the TikTok part. But that's why I wanted to talk to you on the air and have you on the show, because people who will tune in to listen to a conversation about UFOs, if they tune in and listen to an expert, because I've spoken to experts and they're great and they know their stuff, and scientists and people who have been in and around the powerful groups and at the multi-nation level and the Vatican and the White House and the Pentagon, and they can really go off and get into areas that, they're interesting, but they're also kind of difficult. They're not that accessible intellectually, and it also isn't the juicy stuff very often, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you're in this for all. You're in this. You pursue your TikTok channel with a passion, and you love it. So that's why you're here, and that's why everyone is invited to join, by the way. 1-800-848-9222 here on 77 WABC. So tell me, UFO Hunter Jim, how did you come to how'd you come to actually starting this channel? Tell me your background with UFOs. What got you interested? How did you become such a passionate hunter of UFOs?
So, so when I was a kid, I was 8 years old, and I grew up in Collierville, Tennessee, which is right outside of Memphis. We lived on 10 acres. There was no one around. Actually, it's kind of similar to where I am now in Florida. There's no one around. I own 5 acres out here, and I have no light pollution or anything like that. And my mom, anytime there was a like meteor shower or anything like that, my dad worked during the day. He didn't have any interest in any of this stuff or anything like that. But my mom, anytime there was a meteor shower or anything, she would have me and my 2 older sisters out on, you know, the property looking at the, you know, meteor showers. And one particular night we were out there, and we had a bunch of windbreakers, like pine trees, like in front of the property, and there was a lady who owned hundreds of acres of farmland across the way. And my parents knew her. I never met her. She was never over there. She had people that run the land. But anyway, we were just watching for shooting stars one night, and my sister Vicky noticed a light over in the field, just a white light, just a little white light. And she said, "Mom, what is that light over in that field?" And my mom said, "I don't know, Vicky," and just kind of blew it off, and we kept watching for, you know, the meteor shower. Well, like an hour went by, and my mom said, "You know, I really wonder what that light is in that field. I've never seen it before." And my sister Tina said, "Well, why don't we walk over and see what it is?" And we started about halfway across, got about halfway across the property, and we saw the light lift up through the trees. And we kind of stepped back, and there was a huge oak tree across the road, and this huge triangular shaped ship with 3 round white lights on it came over the top of that oak tree. And my mom, she was freaked out. She grabbed me by the hand and she screamed at my sisters, "Get inside, get inside, get inside." And she's dragging me in, and I'm seeing this thing fly over the top of us. I mean, it was ginormous. And, you know, I was only 8 years old, but I knew what I was seeing. And we got inside. She slammed the door, and she said, "Go to your room. I'm going to go talk to your dad." My room was on the 2nd floor. I didn't want to go upstairs. I was scared to death.
Go be alone, children. Go be alone.
Seriously. And because up until that point, it was all in movies. But I knew what I was seeing. This was back in the 80s. I mean, it was crazy. It didn't make any noise, really. There was like a low hum to it. But I really wish I could go. I really wish I could go back in time and like see what that thing did. And or go over there and like hide out and see what it was doing. But what's crazy about it, and I didn't think about it until years later, is that it did not take off until we started over to look at it. And this thing had been over there for a while. We would have seen it. It was huge.
Wow. And, you know, and 1-800-848-9222, if this sounds familiar. Okay. And, please let us know, because this is when people start comparing notes. And people at our level, pedestrian people, right? And then there's leaders like you, UFO Hunter Jim. There's people like you who take the lead and do the work and do the compilation and curate videos and curate stories and stuff like that. And then you have, the next level, the UFO, the reporting center out there, I think in Washington, in Seattle, is it, or Tacoma? Out that way, that bunch of renowned people. But I love when people gather around and go, okay, yes, me too. 1991, I saw the triangle thing. So if, gang, you're out there, you're listening, give a call. So now I have heard many times, and actually one of the most famous in your genre, Art Bell, the great radio, host, his one experience having seen up close, his experience seeing a UFO was also a large triangular. Now, was it mainly sort of a big triangular shadow? Is that what you described? I know you said it had a few lights on it.
No, it was 3 huge, white lights, round white lights on each corner of the triangle. And it was black. There was details on the craft that the light was illuminating. Kind of like, I don't know what it was, to be quite honest with you, but there was definitely some detail on it, but it looked black. But again, it was at night. So.
Sure. And so now, had anybody else seen it? Was there any talk around town, in your area that next day, the next week? Did your mom hear anything anecdotally or?
Not that I know of. I'll be honest with you. The next morning I came downstairs and I asked my mom about it, and she said, my middle name's Wayne, and she said, Jimmy Wayne, we're not going to talk about that. She never mentioned it again. Wow. My parents were very religious. Not that that has anything to do with religion or anything else, but I mean, my parents were very religious, and she never mentioned it again. Mm-hmm. And I talked to my sisters about it, or one of my sisters, like a couple of months ago, and she remembers it like it was yesterday. And,
I'm sure it's a profound experience.
I mean, it's just something that sticks with you.
And so. So now about you. Then you went on with your life. Now, did you continue to follow up on this sort of thing? Did you listen to radio shows like Coast to Coast AM and other things with Art Bell and those types? Did you start reading books on it? How did this thing enter your life and get you to where you are today as a content provider and a real passionate pursuer of this stuff?
Well, I was interested in it like ever since I saw that. But when I was a kid, up until I was an adult, I kind of blacked it out of my mind, to be honest with you. And I don't know why. I really don't know. It's kind of just a natural thing that happened, but I just kind of blacked it out. But later in life, when I was in my 20s, I got more interested in it. And I did listen to Art Bell, or I don't know if it was Art Bell, but I definitely listened to Coast AM. And I literally just started listening to it probably 10 years ago. And I haven't listened to it in quite a while, but I listened to a few episodes. Some of the stuff was a little out there for me, but whenever they had a UFO episove on, I was totally into it. I wasn't into all the Sasquatch crap and stuff like that. But, no, I've been interested in it ever since. And the reason I started my channel is because I just got to this point that the government's not going to disclose anything to us. At this point, these people are invincible. I mean, they have this technology. They've been reverse engineering it for 80 plus years. They're not going to, what are they going to do? Tell the American people they've been lying to them for 80 plus years. They've killed people in the name of this, everything else. Good Lord, they've been doing such nefarious things with this technology. And everything else. They're not going to disclose that.
So now, there are some people that would argue, right? Because as recently as the last couple of days, I don't know if my newspaper's in front of me. I don't know if any one of these newspapers with me, the New York Post, but Tulsi Gabbard, the director, national intelligence director, or whatever her actual title. Yeah, she's fantastic. She's been dropping little hints along the way. There's been a few. There was a time in the last year or two where it got real fashionable for government officials to start being kind of coy and dropping little hints and stuff. And I recently had a guest, one of those experts that we referred to a few minutes ago. I had Danny Sheehan on the show. I don't know if you've ever heard of Danny Sheehan. He's a lawyer.
Absolutely, I have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Danny was on the program a couple of weeks ago, and he says that we are just about to hit that critical mass, and we are about to have a deluge of information and those sorts of admissions from everywhere, from the Vatican to the White House. But maybe you're right. Maybe they're only going to admit to whatever is convenient for them. Certainly not the nefarious stuff.
Well, I think the best we're going to get is these things are real and we are not alone. That's not going to do it for me.
And yet, you know what? I bet you you're right. I bet you they're going to go that far. So tell me, what are some of the more interesting, examples of stories that you've curated recently for UFO Hunter Jim over there on TikTok? What are some of the interesting recent examples of activity? Are there any hot spots around the country? I know that here in New York, out in Long Island, there was recently a spate of sightings. Tell me about some of the hot spots in the USA.
Are you talking about like the New Jersey drones and stuff like that?
No, well, the New Jersey drones seem to have been, they took a shot at explaining those away. I didn't buy all those explanations.
Yeah, I didn't. And look, I'm a Trump supporter 100%, but
sure.
that explanation they give was total and complete BS. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, but anybody with half a brain could see through that.
Yeah. So tell me, what's going on around the country? What are some of the hot spots?
Well, I mean,
and some other interesting stories that you've curated recently for your channel.
So, well, I mean, Ross Coldhart is one of my favorites on News Nation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know of him. I'm sure you do. I would love to talk to him. Mm-hmm. But he came out recently and said that the Tic Tac, you know of the Tic Tac UFO, right?
No, tell me.
You don't know of the Tic Tac? Okay.
Nope, so that's why you're here, baby.
Okay. So back in 2017, there was, the New York Times came out with this story of these UFO sightings that were supposedly released by the Pentagon. Their hand was forced, basically. They were snuck out by Lou Elizondo, and they were released. And so the Tic Tac incident was Commander David Fravor,
mm-hmm.
who is a Top Gun pilot of the famous Black Aces. He actually encountered this thing and saw it firsthand. You can go look up the interview and all that. I'm not going to go into it because it would take too long.
Mm-hmm.
But Ross Coldhart so basically this thing, they saw it, they went out and saw it, and it was doing like these crazy movements over the water. This thing came down from 80,000 feet to sea level in less than a second. Yeah, right. Okay, so this is high as their radar will go is 80,000 feet. Now, 80,000 feet is not space.
I was going to say that's on the cusp of space, isn't it?
Right. 250,000 feet would be considered space, but
okay.
80,000 feet is as high as the radar would go.
Right.
So this thing shot down to sea level from that altitude in less than a second. Okay.
Wow.
So they were out doing exercises, and the Nimitz contacted them and said that they're going to do if I can get my words straight, real world tasking.
Uh-huh.
So they sent them out to investigate this, and they had been seeing these things on the radar for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And they had never had planes supposedly up in the air up until this point.
Yeah.
So they sent them out to investigate it, and they saw this thing like hovering over the water, and it was doing these erratic movements over the water. And Commander Fravor said that there was something in the water. It looked like a rock that it was white capping over like it was docking with something.
And what body of water was this? Where were they?
This was in California.
Over in California, so it was over the Pacific.
Correct.
Okay.
So this thing was making all these erratic movements, and he said, okay, I'm going to go down and check it out, and y'all stay up here. Mm-hmm. So he goes down to check it out, and this thing starts mirroring his movement. Like, it notices him and starts mirroring his movement. And they start, in a circular formation, and he's like, well, I'm going to cut across the circle and try to catch this thing.
Uh-huh.
And when he did that, this thing, he said, this is his words, not mine, it shot off like the bullet out of a gun.
Wow.
At tremendous speed. And then the Nimitz contacted him shortly after and said, sir, this thing is now at your cap point. Their cap point where they were supposed to do their exercise was 60 miles away. And instantaneously, it was at their cap point in the blink of an eye. Now, the reason I tell you this story is Ross Coldhart just recently came out and said that he knows for a fact, and that's huge for him, he's a huge journalist, that the Tic Tac was Lockheed Martin technology.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
That the commander knew nothing about it.
No, absolutely
not. The
not.
Nimitz group didn't know anything about this Lockheed Martin technology. They weren't given any heads up. Wow.
And this was back, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was in 2004 when this originally happened.
And so now, right there, so you see now, so the fact that it's Lockheed Martin technology, okay,
Which is crazy because my brother works for Lockheed Martin.
Oh, wow. Hey, small world, right? But the interesting thing is that you would think, okay, that would be their explanation, like that would be their cover, but you go that next layer down, and the idea is that, well, wait a minute, Lockheed Martin, this technology, clearly, this is technology that Lockheed Martin has not developed in our realm, but that Lockheed Martin got from some other entities visiting us. They have been gifted this technology. It's not like we developed it with good old American, ingenuity.
Well, the shadow government, basically, or whoever these people are, there's a separate government from the actual government. And don't get me wrong, they have shills in there that control the narrative and, they control the narrative, basically. And there's a shadow government. They have their own military and all this stuff, and they give this technology to these aerospace companies such as Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and stuff like that to reverse engineer it. 100%.
1-800-848-9222. Now, and when you say that stuff, I love it. I love it because it's a great conversation. I love it because it really very well, and I'm going to say could be true because, clearly, we don't have that proof. But it also stands to reason. Kind of like earlier before you joined, I was talking about just how many dopes run the government, or actually are elected. Elected officials don't necessarily run things. They vote on stuff. They do make the wheels turn, but they're very often just a bunch of idiots. There's no way, based on the intellectual acuity of the majority of senators and members of Congress, there's no way that's actually, it is the workaday, it is the career government workers, the bureaucrats. And that is
Absolutely.
that's
the
where
the people that stay in there for 30 or 40 years.
Exactly.
Correct?
That's where you're going to find the shadow government, the people that were placed there, the people that are embedded and really actually run things.
Well, you take like all the things that like the Trump administration, Doge and all that shit uncovered. Excuse me for cussing. Like that, they uncovered like all this stuff that like these people getting Social Security until they're 300 years old and stuff like that.
Right.
Where do you think that money is going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
exactly. Seriously.
It's definitely so. It was Lockheed Martin technology. What other? So you mentioned Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. Now this is where the whole Groom Lake Area 51, right? That's
oh, you're talking Bob Lazar.
Yes, Bob Lazar and everything that he uncovered certainly back in the day on the great
Bob Lazar is the best whistleblower of all time.
Yeah.
I 100% believe Bob Lazar.
Yep, 100%. And Bob Lazar, for anybody, who's not familiar, just Google him up and you'll find audio clips of this man. This guy is like a one-of-a-kind genius. He invented his own his own a car powered by
jet car.
Yeah, well, he had his own jet car. Yeah, in the 80s he developed a jet car and a nitrogen powered car that its sole exhaust was water vapor. Exactly the kind of thing that the oil companies are just loving the idea of. But anyway, Bob Lazar was an engineer, a scientist, a rocket scientist, and was a guy that basically blew the whistle on everything happening at Groom Lake at Area 51, and he came clean.
Nobody knew what Area 51 was until Bob Lazar.
Right. Yeah. I tell you what, it's interesting. Everybody, by the way, it's Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick. We're talking to UFO Hunter Jim. You find his very interesting channel on TikTok, UFO Hunter Jim. Jim, I was I'm going to take a break in a quick second, but I was just out in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and I used to be there all the time back in the 90s and the 2000s, and it was really fun when I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I was at the airport and watching the Janet planes going by. The
absolutely, the Janet flights.
Yep, the Janet flights, which is just another non-existent.
Supposedly, right?
Something that's what Janet stands for. Just another non-existent something. And it's great. And for anybody who doesn't know, these are planes that are plain white with a red stripe, no registration on the tail, no tail number at all. And they come and go from a separate hangar over in the corner of McCarran Airport. And absolutely. Yet they taxi out on the same tarmac as all the commercial flights. And these are planes that shuttle workers to and from Area 51 to this day. They do.
Yeah, and there's no windows in them either at all.
That's it.
So they don't know where they're going. Yeah.
Exactly. So anybody, next time you're out there in Vegas, you think that Jim and I are just pulling something, out of thin air or making something up. Just next time you're waiting for your flight at McCarran Airport, take a look out the window, and at some point you will see a medium size, like a 737, medium sized jet go by with no tail numbers, white with a red stripe. That's a Janet flight, and they are either on their way to or just returning from Area 51. All right, gang, it's 3:31 in the morning. We're going to take a quick break here on Another Side of Midnight. It's me, TJ, talking to you and UFO Hunter Jim right there. Go take a look at TikTok, and we shall be right back. 1-800-848-9222.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormick.
It's 3:36 in the morning here on 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick. And we're talking to UFO Hunter Jim, a guy with a really cool UFO centric channel on TikTok. And TikTok, I've warmed up to TikTok in the last few months. I've found some really fascinating channels, some truly weird stuff, some truly like bizarre, jarring content. And I'm not even talking about anything that's, sexual or untoward. That's almost non-existent. But like there is some truly just jarring things, like all of a sudden something, right? The kind of stuff that just freaks you out and keeps you up at night kind of stuff on all of a sudden in your face. But there's also great content creators, like UFO Hunter Jim. So, 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222 with your UFO stories. Please, anything, that you'd like to express. And, and perhaps if it's something that UFO Hunter Jim, would be, is it Wayne? Jimmy Wayne? Is that your middle name, Wayne?
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Jimmy Wayne.
Call me Jim.
Yeah, I know. But I just like that quote that your mom said, Jimmy Wayne. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, that's funny.
So tell me a little bit more about what's going on these days as you curate more and more stories. What's happening? What are you populating your channel with in the most recent couple of weeks?
Right. So I go out and UFO hunt as much as I can. I have military grade night vision that I do this with, and I have a camera attachment that I hook up to it, so it sees everything that I see. And what's crazy is when I first started this, I've only been doing this for 5 months, and I first got a Psionics Aurora about how long was ago? Probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and I didn't really like it too much. It had a horrible field of view, and the resolution wasn't that great.
Right.
And so I ended up selling it to a guy in Destin for $800. He wanted a night vision for his boat or whatever. So 2 years went by, and I looked and looked for night vision, and it's so hard to get consumer grade night vision that's any good. So I finally just bit the bullet and got me some good military grade night vision. And since I've been doing this, I have had 4 of these things interact with me. And
whoa,
what I mean
tell me about.
I
want you to drill down on this. I want you. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a moment, and I want you to give me, when you say that these things have been interacting with you, what do you think has been interacting with you? And tell me how.
I have no idea.
But tell me about the experience. Describe for the listeners the experience of being interacted with.
Okay, so when I say interacted with, I mean these things give me power-ups. They give me flashes back. So I have a laser and I'm literally like filming the moon right now as we're recording this, like I have been the whole time we've been recording this.
Okay.
I have a Nikon P1100, and I've always wanted to catch something flying across the moon. I never have yet. There's tons of stories and videos out there of stuff that fly across the moon, but I've kind of got to see it for myself to believe it. So when I first got my night vision, I didn't catch much, just mainly satellites for the first couple of weeks. And then I came outside one night and I saw this really low, like orb. And I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. And the thing about night vision is you don't really, so everything that you see, whether it be a satellite, star, or whatever else, it looks very similar. They're circular type objects. And Bob Lazar even, explained this, like how they work. So UFOs don't put off light. It's because of the gravity amplifiers in them that create this bubble around them. And it creates, not a light, but I mean, it looks like a light. It looks like they're glowing, right?
Sure. And again, that's that energy, that magnetic field, anti-gravity energy that was developed. Well, if it wasn't developed, it was taken from all of the craft that have been maintained and kept and stored out at Area 51. And by the way, the fact that they keep saying that Area 51 has been decommissioned and that Area 51, if you go looking for it, it's not there anymore. That to me is further misdirection. That's the first lady of magic is misdirection. I just don't believe that Area 51 is done. I think they've invested too much time and effort. I think everything's been moved inside that mountain. I think, and so anyway, that energy that you're talking about that creates something akin to a glowing light, that's the anti-gravity that we got from those alien, whether we confiscated, whether we took, or whether they've been visiting us and they availed it to and provided it to us. That's what you're talking about.
Donations.
Yes. Yeah. So tell me about this orb. So tell me about the orb that you saw. What did it look like? What did it do? How did it behave?
So it was, I mean, it's huge, and you can go to my TikTok channel and look at it. The 3-pin videos, I recommend the most. I mean, you can go down to the very end of my videos and even the middle and see all the night vision clips are filmed by me. And, so this first thing that interacted with me, so I use lasers or a laser, and I don't shine it directly on the object, but I shine it in front of them just to let them know that I'm there.
Well, because also, God forbid, I mean, you got to be careful with lasers. You can't be, you say, oops, and it's a plane, because you're going to be in jail in 9 minutes.
Absolutely not. And you can see plainly, you can see plain as day, a 747, you can see the contrails through the night vision, and you can see a small plane like a Cessna or something like that. But these things are orbs. So I lasered it a couple times, and it waited until it got right over the top of my head, and it gave me one single, huge flash. So
this is kind of like, okay, so just like in Close Encounters, they were playing those tones, and is this a version of that? is in that movie, which again was based, on, stories and different anecdotes and stuff like that way back in the 70s or 80s. Close Encounters. Back, yeah. They played the scientist in the movie played the tones and dun 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 dun. And the ship played it back. Is this something akin to that where you flashed up a laser ahead of it and it sort of responded with a pulse of energy to you?
Correct.
Did you sense that it was acknowledging you or telling you cut it out? Or what do you think that was?
No, you hit the nail on the head. I think it was an acknowledgement.
Okay.
Or just like, hey, idiot, I see you. Yeah.
That had to be exciting as hell. That had to be like, did you just sit down and go, whoa?
No, it was. It 100% was, and I couldn't believe it. In fact, if you hear the original audio, I put music to it, but if you hear the original audio, I stayed silent for like 30 seconds after it happened because I was just flabbergasted because I really didn't expect to ever catch anything like that. It just blew me away.
You know what? All right, everybody, listen. It's 1:15. We got to take our 1/4 break. You hang right there, UFO Hunter Jim. Original Rick is on the line. He says he used to live in a UFO hotspot. I want to hear from them. We shall return in just a moment. We're going to keep this going. This is classic, Another Side of Midnight stuff. We're talking to UFO Hunter Jim. He was basically playing cat and mouse with an orb that answered him. Love it. 1-800-848-9222. You believe it? You don't believe it? Intrigued? Or do you think that this is just a figment of everybody's imagination? Or are you ready to hear from the Vatican and the White House and all those other places? We've spoken to experts on this show in the last couple of weeks. We heard from Danny Sheehan telling us he's convinced, because he's had conversations with the Vatican archives. Danny Sheehan, you can listen to that archive. And we're going to have Danny Sheehan back on this program in a couple of weeks to talk further about what the Vatican knows and when did they find out about it. 1-800-848-9222. What do you think about this subject? We shall return. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormick, on 77 WABC.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Whole notion of UFOs and alien life forms, it's all predicated on the idea, right? In terms of like, do you believe or do you not believe? How can we be alone? How can we be the only intelligent life in the universe? Right? Hey, and that voice you just heard, that's UFO Hunter Jim. You go see him on TikTok. He is a passionate, follower of this genre of study and interest. Over on TikTok, UFO Hunter Jim. Let's get over to Original Rick on line 1 in New Jersey. You're on the air with me, TJ, on Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. Say hi to UFO Hunter Jim.
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Jay.
Hey.
Mr. McCormick.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I used to live in a UFO hotspot. It was designated by the military as so. It was a Grant, California, population 4. When I moved there, it made 5. It was on Highway 395. It was 30 miles south of Mount Whitney, Lone Pine.
Wow.
And a tiny little town. And I found a hotel for $100 a month, so I stayed for a year.
Yeah, might as well. Just on principle alone, you stay there because it's
right. So anyway, I'm sitting on my back porch with my dog, and I'd see these flights going across the mountains. And believe it or not, the backyard was 17,000 acres. 17,000 acres. The guy homesteaded it in the 1800s. So I had a clear view from 3,500 feet up to 12,000 feet Atlanta Peak, and they'd be going across this peak. So I was like, what the hell? So the sheriff was across the street one day, and I went over and I said, what are these things I'm seeing? Mm-hmm. He goes, oh, the saucers. Yeah, don't try to catch them. You can't catch them. I said, excuse me?
Wow.
He goes, yeah, the saucers, we've been chasing them for decades. You get close to them, they zip away. Don't bother.
Rick, when was this? Wow. Give me a time frame on this.
1980. 1979, 1980.
So this is coming out of that, people had already been learning about Project Blue Book. And, there were the TV movies about it and the mini series about Project Blue Book and, Roswell, you are talking about a period that's pre-Art Bell, pre-Lazar and George Knapp, out of, Las Vegas, KDWN. And yet it was, and also in that, however, in that part of the country, it was probably a lot more prevalent conversation in that part of the world, wasn't it?
Well, that's what really got me was the matter of factness.
They were matter of fact. Yep.
Yeah. This saucer, it's like, it was no big deal. I love it. And so, yeah. So I was up at the little cafe up near Lone Pine, and I asked these teenagers, I just had my say, I said, what do you guys do out here in this 2-horse town, as teenagers? And he said, oh, we drink beer and make out with our girlfriends and wait for the saucers to land. I said, excuse me, again.
Wow.
He goes, yeah, we drink beer and make out and watch the saucers. It was absolutely normal for them because their granddaddies used to go up to the Lover's Lane and watch the saucers land.
That sounds like a hell of a Saturday. Drink beer, make out, and watch UFOs.
Exactly, yeah. Who wouldn't like that?
Goodness gracious.
So here's where the military comes in.
Yes.
So I asked them, well, where is this? And they wouldn't tell me. So I asked the waitress, I said, why wouldn't they tell me? She goes, because we don't know if you're with the military. Now, the military had rented the ranch right next to me for about 2 years because they were studying this.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of the original Skinwalker Ranch. Mm-hmm. They were just doing tests. And one time they had to rent the rooms in the hotel for extra guys, and they had a RV that looked like the RV that came out of Stripes. Remember Stripes?
Yeah, Stripes. Yes. We're going to Wisconsin.
Right. They tricked out. They had that tricked out RV.
Yeah.
Well, they had one of those, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" They'd go out to the desert, come back. So one day I went up there with a bottle of whiskey, and I was, it's lonely in a town of 4.
God, I want to be original Rick in 1980. Go ahead.
And I said, so we were talking, the regular guys. And then I said, so what are you guys doing out there? And Mr. McCormick,
yes.
it was like a code word. Their faces went blank, all of them.
Yeah.
And you remember that movie with Charles Bronson? He would wake up sleeper cells and say, miles to go before I sleep.
Yeah. I forget the title, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah. They just stopped. They stopped talking. Wow. I mean, they were like robots that got shut down, and I got really creeped out. I grabbed my bottle, I went downstairs. So the next day it was normal. Hey, Rick, how you doing?
A
couple days later, did the same thing. I asked them, what are you doing out there? They shut down.
That's their training. That's what they were programmed. Rick, I gotta get to David in Pennsylvania, cause we're coming up on the end of this segment. David in Pennsylvania, you have a UFO story. You're talking to me and UFO Hunter Jim.
Yes, sir. Dr. McCormick and Jim. I believe that the humans are the only human life in all the galaxies we have seen light years away. The only ones we've detected. That UFOs, as we know them, are created by man here on Earth and flown around the Earth.
For what reason?
To deceive the masses.
To what end?
By unscrupulous people.
To what end?
Let me put a plug in for my company, Fisher Co-op.
Wait, no. I don't want to be, can't plug it. I don't want to do that. But just tell, David, I'll give you one more chance here, Dave. And I do love when you call in. But tell me, what do you think is the rationale? What is the reason? What's the why that the government would be deceiving us with, pretend? And I'm sure UFO Hunter Jim wants to fight you.
foreign governments to cause trouble, to cause chaos in other countries.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Hey, listen, UFO Hunter Jim, you've got a real great thing going there on TikTok. And again, it's because of your passion. You're not sitting there with a PhD. And you're not sitting there with, some big product to sell. You are a guy who has seen, basically, I think your story is you saw enough by the time you were 8 to know what you know to be true, right? And so tell me, so what's next? What do you think is the next big reveal? I got about a minute and a half. But tell me what you think is the next big reveal. What's the next big step for the subject of UFOs that's going to really get the attention of you and creators like you, let alone the people of the planet? What do you think is next?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I would love to tell you my drone story, though, if I could, real quick.
Sure, real quick. Yeah, by all means.
So I saw this thing, and it looked like a snowman, like a small snowman, right? Mm-hmm. And it had this a small plane. It looked like beside it that was strobing, correct? Mm-hmm. And it was a ways off from it, and I didn't think nothing about it. And I said, okay, well, this thing is mirroring this airplane. Mm-hmm. And it went off on its own, and the other thing, like the airplane, it just went off on its way, and it kind of, just left it. Well, 2 weeks went by, and I saw another one of these things, and it had another small strobing object to the lower right-hand side of it, or left-hand side of it, upper left-hand side of it. And it was strobing as well. And I'm like, well, what is this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same, and it was flying perfectly. And you can go to my TikTok and watch the video. It's one of my 3 pinned videos that I have up there.
Oh, and yes.
Yeah. So the third object that you see, it's got a smaller object that is not strobing on the lower right-hand corner of this big craft. And then I see 2 satellites. I focus in on them for a second, and then I go back to the main object. And you see, if you zoom in, you see this faint, small object coming out of the bigger object that looks just like this other smaller object, but it's real faint. And I thought, at first, this is due to some kind of camera artifacting or something like that.
Right.
So it's going along.
Do me a favor. Get to the good stuff in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
That's okay.
So right before it goes into the tree line, it lights up super bright. And then as it exits the tree line, the light goes out. So it was not artifacting.
Wow.
I think these things are either offloading these smaller drones or it is self-replicating. One of the two.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, buddy. Like I said, that right there, that anecdote, that report you just gave shows that you are in this, and guys and girls like you are in this for all the right reasons, and it's a passion, and we're all going to learn and get smarter from it. Thank you, UFO Hunter Jim, for coming on the program, and thank you for your great channel over there on TikTok. Gang, if you love that subject, go take a look. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick here on the one and only, the great 77 WABC. I can't believe I still get that I'm saying that. It's amazing. What a gift. Thank you, gang. We'll be right back.
This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
It is Another Side of Midnight. I'm TJ McCormack here on 77 WABC, and my thanks to UFO Hunter Jim. And again, I love the idea of having somebody who really just loves the subject, loves the genre, and is just his whole raison d'etre. That's some fancy talking. Is to spread the word and start the conversation and have an opinion and learn more, and clearly that's what that guy's doing. What got me, my favorite part of that conversation with UFO Hunter Jim was when, well, right there towards the end. I think the climax of the conversation was when he had been sort of diddling around with a laser and found himself sort of in conversation almost with an orb that was, adjacent to a craft. And then at the end too, also the idea that this one craft had these ancillary craft coming off of it. And I didn't get a chance because we were really bumping up against the top of the hour. But what it sounded like to me was almost like an armada, like our Navy ships are out there with, frigates and destroyers on their flanks, on their sides, protecting the carrier, the carrier groups that are out there with their protection. Interesting if that's the same mode that, some of these interstellar crafts would travel. I don't know. That was fascinating. Anyway, here we go. Why don't we hit this? All right. These are the people and or things that I'm just done with. I'm done with this. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Christiane Amanpour, Savannah Guthrie, done with her. If I never see Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and if I never hear Jimmy Crack Corn, then I don't care. I'm done with them. Howard Stern, over. All senior women with really cute pixie haircuts and bold glasses that make a statement. I'm done with them. I'm tired of those ladies. They're just looking for attention. They're really, really old, but they have really, really young haircuts and they have those really profound, bold glasses frames. I don't care and I'm over you. Get over yourself. I'm also really over the men who are married to those very old women with obnoxious glasses. What else? Let's see. People who have a hard time, they have hold the music for a second. This is who I'm done with. There are people who just have terrible timing when they're talking and it's saliva management. They have bad timing with their swallowing. They have a hard time timing their talking with their swallowing like that. And people who need to take a pause and swallow. That drives me out of my mind because all I can do is listen to that process. Thank you. Who else? Well, let's see. Men who wear slippers out of the house. Especially ones with fake fur, because the fake fur picks up all the dirt and you look at their feet and their feet tell a tale. You can tell where they've been all day. I can't stand men who wear slippers outside the house. Gluten-free people. Gluten-free people. You can kill the music again. Gluten-free people. Gluten-free people. Anybody who's gluten-free, for some reason, they got to tell you that they're gluten-free. They got to tell you that they're gluten-free and that they found gluten-free products. You'll hear about, cookies and you'll be talking about food in general and they'll have to interject that, I found a really great oatmeal raisin gluten-free cookie and I'm able to enjoy it because, I'm gluten-free. Or when you're talking about a potluck supper and you're talking about potluck, everybody's going to bring something. Or I don't know, do we even do potluck suppers? But everybody's bringing something for Thanksgiving. If everybody's bringing something for the birthday party or for 4th of July, all of a sudden, Mary's going to say, I've got the gluten-free because I'm gluten-free. Yeah, we know, Mary. We know you're gluten-free. Those are gluten-free people. We should just call them gluten-free people. Are you gluten-free? Okay, because I was going to say no, because I've never heard that you are. I would know, Tony, that you were gluten-free because all you talk about is that you're gluten-free. But you don't. So you're not. Did Bill leave? Take off? Play my music. Play my music. I'm not done with my bit. Spanish Flea. So I'm also done with, thank you, Tone. I'm also done with Rosie O'Donnell, Lindsey Graham. I'm done with Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz sounds like that guy from Green Acres. Well, Mr. Douglas. Was that Mr. Haney? Well, Mr. Douglas, I can get that tractor for you here in no time at all. You just gotta pay me $1,000. That's Ted Cruz. Sounds like that guy from... I'm also way over men who wear crossbody messenger bags. That is not masculine. You're not a man if you wear a crossbody messenger bag and a t-shirt. I'm also over Barbra Streisand and men who say yummy. Don't say yummy. Dudes can't say yummy. Thank you. Thank you. You can wind out the music. Thank you, Tone, for picking up the slack there, Pally. Yeah, I'm done with that. And yummy is just not a dude word. You can't say yummy if you're a guy. You're not allowed. You know what? I was on TV last week doing some political commentary, and I was on a panel. I was on a political panel, and we were talking about the redistricting. Everybody's talking about redistricting the congressional maps. They want to do it in Texas, and they want to do it and so the Democrats are all pushing back, and they want to do it in New York and in Illinois and California. Yes, Bill. And all over the place. And I don't like it. I'm not comfortable. So anyway, but I'll get to the why in a sec. But here's the thing. I said that it was icky. A television network had me on their air. So I'm dropping a dime on myself. I'm being intellectually honest, okay? I'm calling out dudes who say yummy. Now, I think there's like 47 guys on the planet who utter the word yummy. Unless you're talking to a kid. If you're talking to a little baby, all right? If you're trying to convince a 2-year-old to eat something and say, it's yummy. Like right now, the way Bill is devouring that. What are you eating? What is that? It looks like something that would be yummy. Is that You just made my morning. You're not allowed to say yummy if you're a dude unless you're talking. That's a rule. That's a new rule for the world. Okay. Dudes can say yummy only if they are conversing with someone who is 4 years old or younger. Anything older than 4 is too old for yummy if you're a dude. Anyway, but I said icky to describe redistricting congressional maps. I mean, I was being me, okay? I was being cute. That's another caveat. Okay. If a dude is being cute, he can say yummy. Like if he's talking to his girlfriend or his wife. All right. These are like TJ's rules. So that's the other dispensation for saying yummy for a dude. You're talking to 4 years old or younger, and if you're being cute with your girlfriend, you can say yummy. But I think, guys, that you're playing with fire because, I'm going to bring all this together. Because if you say the word yummy, you might end up turning off your girlfriend or wife. Okay? You might be turning her off. And all of a sudden she's like, wait a minute, I'm with a guy who says,
yummy, yummy, I got love in my tummy and I feel like I'm loving you. Sweet thing, good enough to eat thing, and it's just what I'm gonna do.
That's the creepiest damn version of that song I've ever heard.
To hold ya. Ooh, love to kiss ya.
Did you hollow that out? What is that? That's just... But so if a dude says yummy in front of his girlfriend, that could bring about the ick factor, as I bring icky back. That's a thing too. That's like on social media is the ick. And so anyway, that's the thing right there. I was being cute. I was being like, TJ-ish on this political panel on TV. And I said that redistricting, I said, I don't like one party rule. I don't like when a party flexes too much muscle and silences, which is what the whole idea of electing representatives is all about. It's about having your voice, having representation. And I don't like going and being proactive and carving out and silencing what would be, in a particularly red or particularly blue state, opposition. And I said, I don't know. I think it's icky. And I heard myself say that. And I went, oh my God, I just said icky on a television news network. They loved it. They appreciated it because the anchors found the subject to be particularly boring, and they hated that they had to even do the segment. So I ended up being a bit of a hero in that moment anyway, because I brought some levity to the subject. But, that is an interesting thing. And I've heard it pop up a little bit recently. Oh, I see Pamela. Thank you. I can't wait to talk to you in a sec. It's popped up recently as this ick thing. Now it's always been there. It's that whole concept of you're with somebody that you're kind of getting going with, and whether you're dating or if you've been dating for a while, now you're getting intimate, and you're entering that phase of the relationship, and something might happen, something might go down, something might occur. That's better terminology. Something might occur. And, as you get more intimate in a relationship, you find yourself crossing paths in different areas and places and rooms, and you leave more stuff behind. Maybe it's a clothing thing. Maybe it's a laundry incident. Who knows? All I know is since the dawn of social media, this is the sort of thing that catches fire and it gets traction and people start talking about it and it gets a name. And in this case, it's the ick. I got the ick and I can't get past it. And the whole notion is, the concept is that once you have this ick experience, it's an experience. I think I just coined something, Liz. I coined something, an ick experience, for the experience of having the ick. Yes? Is that a nod? Okay, so it's a good thing. Okay, I'll keep going with it. Thank you. And adults, like my wife has a couple of girlfriends who are recently divorced. They're like, late 40s. And one of her friends told me, said, oh my God, I had this awful, I got the ick with this guy. And it was like, and I started thinking about it. And I remember having an ick. Now I'm not going to tell you what happened, but I do remember I was in my very early 20s. It was here in New York City on the Upper East Side. I was doing stand-up. I was getting more and more, much more successful at stand-up. Things were happening. Career was moving. I was playing very cool clubs. I was making some money. And comedy can be an aphrodisiac, I'd like to think, if I do say so myself. And so I met this incredibly attractive, very successful woman, young woman, my age, ridiculously engaging. What a cool, funny, smart woman. What did she do? She would have been advertising. I think she was in advertising. And I couldn't believe she was talking to me. I didn't quite really yet understand the power of show business and levity and comedy in particular. So anyway, we go on a few dates, whatever. She invites me to her home. Go to her home. We go out for dinner. This is like our 4th, 5th date, something like that. And we then return to her home after this evening out that included a stop at a comedy club for me to do a set. And I'm not going to regale you with exactly what I'm talking about, but there was an ick moment, and that was it. Here I was, an amorous 20-something-year-old Irish Catholic boy from Westchester with a remarkably stunning and impressive and profound woman that any man of any age would be truly, this is like give up your left arm for the experience. Couldn't do it. Over. Couldn't continue. Couldn't continue. Had to get out of the situation immediately. That night, that moment, I couldn't stay. And it wasn't like, it was like, no, you know what? Gotta go. I can't. Oh, yep. It was it. It was over. Could have been. I'm walking up 2nd Avenue and I'm thinking to myself in real time, what the hell am I walking away from? How am I walking away? And as I think about turning back, I go, no, can't do it. Now, without telling me about the ick, if it's a particularly gross thing and a graphic thing, leave it out. But if you can relate to what I'm talking, 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. It's another side of midnight here on 77 WABC. We're working our way up to 5 a.m. Liz Radabali with the 5 a.m. newscast, ready to roll with that for your Sunday morning. 1-800-848-9222. Ryan's been waiting on line 1 for a few minutes. Good morning, Ryan. How are you, sir?
Oh, hi, PJ.
Hey.
She was a cat woman.
No. Oh, good guess. Good guess. No, she was not a cat woman. No, not a cat, but a good guess. That would have been an ick. That would have been a non-starter for me as well. Yeah.
Right.
Can you relate to that? Does this make sense to you, this whole ick conversation?
Well, of course. If somebody, there are certain traits, there's even certain words somebody could say that could turn certain guys off.
And that's my point about a dude saying yummy in front of a woman. I think a dude could immediately emasculate himself irretrievably emasculate himself by using the wrong terminology, like yummy.
Yeah, but guys should know. I mean, go Google Gaga or something. I mean, come on. Guys should know by now, once they hit their 20s, that, certain, let's use a fancy word, vernacular.
Vernacular.
Masculine vernacular.
I throw that around.
We're not all, Curly from the Three Stooges,
well done.
The thing is, I mean, some guys have violated one of the great New York City, urban legends, never marry a cat woman, and they did, right?
Yep.
You go over the house, they got 20 cats running around.
Oh, and the smell. And the hair. And
we're not ordinary people. We're morons.
They should have. That's a nice vernacular you got there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. Oh, you're funny. All right, Ryan. Thank you, buddy.
One more thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, please go right ahead.
Go Buchanan, go!
Oh, all right.
I'm positive. You're positive?
He's positive.
You're positive? I'm positive.
He's positive.
Positive.
He's positive. He's positive.
Boy, that's not what you want to hear when you're waiting for a diagnosis. 1-800-848-9222. Pamela in Nueva Jersey. Hello, Pamela. I love when you pop up on the screen. I know it's always going to just add to the program. So it's good to talk to you. Good morning.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. One of the private jokes that my husband and I have about men wearing shorts. I've always told him, I said, listen, the only time you're allowed to wear shorts is if we're riding along the ocean or a lake and somebody's drowning and we have a pair of scissors on us and you want to cut your jeans off to save the person. Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm down with that.
Right.
But otherwise, Men, shorts, no.
Okay. Now hold on. All right, Pamela. Damn it. Okay, here we go. So listen, I get it. Okay. So Pam, all right. So here's my deal. By the way, is that okay if I say Pam, or do you prefer Pamela?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I always say 3 syllables because sometimes on the radio or phone they can't hear my name and they end up calling me Ham or Pat.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. Hamala.
Pamela. Right. Or Pamela, God forbid.
So Pam, here's the thing. Tomorrow, well, actually today, no, tomorrow's my first full day, but later today, I will be, I'll be down the shore. I'll be, down shore. I'm going down to, going to Ocean City. Okay. Whoop. We lost Pamela. Come back, Pamela. Come back. I'm going down ashore. And I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Ocean City, but it's mainly, let's just throw it right in there. Let's bring it right back. Pamela, I'm regaling everybody with my great lower South Jersey Ocean City accent, which is basically a Philadelphia thing because, Ocean City becomes an extension of Philadelphia in the summertime. Are you familiar with that part of the Jersey Shore?
Oh yeah, the Philly thing is, South Jersey is basically Philly.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe the greatest impersonation of anybody from Philadelphia, out there. It's an impersonation that I do. I have, an entire, repertoire of, Philadelphia, characters in my head, mainly people that, become so tan that by the 3rd of July they are already indecipherable from the pilings of most longshore fishing piers on the South Jersey Shore. They become so brown they look like the pilings of the pier. Anyway, so now tomorrow, so later today, I'm going to be driving down the Garden State Parkway. I'm going to go down through the Pine Barrens, making my way down to Cape May County. I'm going to Ocean City. When I'm there, you see, understand, if I get into a rut with that accent, I'll do it all day. Are you saying that when dudes are like down the shore, that wearing shorts is verboten for you? Or are you talking about like day-to-day life, da-da-da-da? But like, if you and your husband were to go to Aruba, for example, do you expect him to wear trousers during the day?
Well, when you're on the beach, nice, long trunks, not those weird Speedo things.
No,
That's
I never wear
fine.
I never wear a Speedo. Never. I would never.
Let me tell you something. One time, my brother and sister-in-law and I went to a lake in New Jersey, and my brother, rode a motorcycle and he wore jeans most of the time. He went on the beach. Mm-hmm. Now, we wore bathing suits, my sister-in-law and I, and he wore jeans and, the chain with the wallet and the this and that.
Whole
and
thing.
He sat on a lounge chair on the beach, and everybody was like laughing and, not in front of him, but, and, so, I don't go that far.
Okay.
But, a decent pair of trunks. But when you're walking around, no, I don't like shorts.
Even if I'm out, or if a gentleman is out there walking around doing, like, out in the Hamptons or in Montauk and doing some shopping, and it's 86 degrees, even then, Pamela.
I know some, they wear the dress shorts and everything, but still, I don't know.
You're not even a fan of resort wear. Resort
no,
wear.
Khaki cotton pants, fine.
Okay.
But, I remember in high school, my teacher saying, you could always tell, my particular town.
Yeah.
You wore T-shirts and jeans. And, there's nothing better than a guy in a T-shirt and jeans, in my opinion.
Pamela, and you know what? Your opinion counts. Your opinion matters here on Another Side of Midnight. It very often implicates the trajectory of the program and the conversation. So your opinion matters. You count. Thank you for that, Pamela. I'm going to talk to John in Staten Island. Call back again. John, we're talking about Ocean City, New Jersey. You're familiar with that borough, are you?
I have been going there since I was born, and my mom grew up going there on family vacations as a child, and she's now in almost 60 years old.
Wow. So exactly how perfect is this accent? Am I doing Philadelphia perfect or what?
So consider me and you shoobies.
Right. Yeah.
So have you been to Ocean City before?
Yeah. I've been going for like the last 10 years, taking the kiddos down there. We've rented, smaller condos. We've worked our way up to larger. And, now, my wife is, down there with the girls and they each brought a friend. So I've moved into that phase of the vacation where my teenage daughters take their teenage girlfriends and, they're out there on the boardwalk, attracting all sorts of, seagulls and teenage boys.
That's too funny.
They go to Curly's Fries. They go to Curly's Fries. They go to Manco Pizza.
I'm not a Manco fan.
Me neither. Awful pizza. Awful.
We like to go to the Anchorage over in Summers Point.
Yep.
Spitty's, the clam bar.
Is Anchorage, is that good for pizza? Did they do like wood fired?
No, Anchorage, they have like the wings.
Okay, right.
Bar. We like to go out for breakfast in the morning because we stay in a motel.
I love vacation breakfast. It's the only time I eat breakfast.
We love to go to Uncle Bill's.
Uncle Bill's?
The Varsity.
The Varsity. My wife took the girls there for brunch today when they got there.
And Augie's.
Augie's is good. And you know what I had last time? And by the way, 1-800-848-9222. Tell me your vacation spot. Tell me that legacy vacation spot that you've been going to forever and ever and ever. Ever and ever and ever. Because these, John, these people in Ocean City, and you got people in, they go to LBI, you got people that go to Sea Isle City, and and I love the idea of the familiarity. I love the idea of the ritual.
I want to tell you about the property where, Jillian's Wonderland, the rides.
Yep.
They were supposed to build a hotel there. You're probably familiar with the story.
Icona. I actually know the guy. I actually know the developer. I know the guy. I know him, and I know him. The guy he's a good man. He's a passionate, faithful Catholic. And, he is also an entrepreneur and a developer. And he actually has that exact accent that I was just doing perfectly.
All right. You're talking about, Eustace Mita?
Yes, that is, yes.
Okay.
His name is in the paper. I know him from my work with the Archdiocese. Yes.
I walked into Jillian's last Tuesday, the 5th.
It's empty now, right? Is it empty?
So, they have an arcade in the building where they used to have the rides.
All right.
The carousel is still there. The train ride is still there. There's a rock climbing wall. But you can't go to like the outside area because that's all like an empty lot.
Right. Is the Ferris wheel still standing?
Ferris wheel's still standing.
Okay.
So when you're driving down today, right?
Yeah.
So if you drive over the 9th Street Bridge, you'll likely see it.
I always go over the 9th Street Bridge. Yep.
Yeah, we always go over 9th Street as well.
It's a nice sort of, again, that's part of the ritual.
Oh, yeah. For me, the ritual is lunch at Smitty's.
Yeah.
Then go to the motel to check in.
Sure.
And then go to the grocery store to stock up.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. And it's all 10 times more expensive than it is at home, but it's okay. Because it's what you do, right? And, I love it. And matter of fact.
So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, about the hotel.
Yes.
So Eustace Mita wanted to put a restaurant in there. And he wanted the restaurant to serve liquor. You know this, but.
Yeah.
Dry town.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's 20% of the homeowners in Ocean City that live there year round are fighting against it,
right?
Because he wants to bring in the liquor.
Yeah, and for everybody who doesn't know, I don't want to go into too much of a rabbit hole here because we're going to leave a lot of people behind, and I don't want to do that. Not everybody speaks Ocean City like you and I do, Ocean City, New Jersey. But anyway, it is an interesting conversation because what you've got is you got passionate people who love their vacation hotspot, their vacation legacy, lifelong vacation, like John is describing. His mom's been going there since she was a kid and she's almost 60. And it's a dry town. It was founded by Methodists.
Yes.
It was founded by Methodists as a religious summer retreat. It used to be a train line that went right into, Ocean City, New Jersey. And it's still a dry town. You can bring booze. Matter of fact, one of the best businesses on the New Jersey shore are the series of large liquor stores right before the bridges, the causeways that bring you onto Ocean City, New Jersey, which is a dry island. And, but you can bring in booze, like just ask my wife. I don't drink. I'm an alcoholic. My wife does, and she does it really well. That's one thing my wife definitely does better than me, and that's drink because she's not addicted to it. But anyway, hey, listen, John, thanks for calling in, buddy. Thanks for that. That was a cool conversation. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, when I get down there later this morning, first thing I'm going to do is actually get up there and run on the boardwalk. That's my thing. I like to get out there and run, and I do it on the boardwalk. And the reason I do it by hook or by crook is because I'm a recovered alcoholic and because I can now, and I couldn't many years ago. 1-800-848-9222. Let's see. Jeff in Nutley. Jeff, I love Nutley, New Jersey. I love it. Great restaurants there.
Yes, Jim from Nutley.
Oh, Jim from Nutley. I'm sorry.
This guy. I thought I was the only one that didn't think men wearing shorts was I don't know, it's a real turnoff. I think it's so uncool, you know what I mean?
And meanwhile, it does cool them off. So it's an interesting turn of phrase. So you agree with that episode of the Sopranos when the guys went to the barbecue and Tony was working the grill at his house, and they said a Don doesn't wear shorts.
Absolutely. I mean, my whole thing is everything's got to be kind of cool. You know, I'm like a Nicky Nork kind of person. I would never walk around with shorts.
You're Paulie Walnuts.
Yeah, I never wear sneakers. I always wear boots.
Okay.
And I actually, when women wear sneakers, it kind of turns me off. I think women should always wear nice shoes.
I love this. You are making my day. This is fascinating. So your rules go both ways for men and women. So you don't like when dudes wear sneakers or shorts, and you don't like when ladies wear like sneakers or, God forbid, boots, right? I mean, you must flip out. You must faint if you see a woman wearing like construction boots.
Yeah. I can remember a time like when I was younger, you would never see a woman in slacks.
Right.
They always wore dresses. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. One thing I want to mention is when Liz Radabali is on when she's doing the news and she giggles a little bit. That really turns me on.
All right. Okay. All right. I got you. That's cute, but you know, we got to keep it completely above board. It's a professional woman, and that's a personality thing. And Liz is absolutely the quintessential newsreader. And we are going to be handing it off to Liz in about 20 minutes. And that's coming. Was it? Oh yeah. Did I not do the bottom? Oh snap! We are having such a good time talking about Ocean City, New Jersey. I forgot to take the break at 4:30. All right, everybody, stay right there. It's North Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormick, on 77 WABC. We'll be right back.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormick.
1-800-848-9222. Hey, it's me, TJ, on Another Side of Midnight. And yes, I'm gonna, here on 77 WABC, I am, gonna hit the, Jersey Shore. My wife and daughters are there ahead of time. Love it. By the way, talking about my daughters. You've been hearing in these news breaks about Hochul and her phone ban. My children are going to break that law. There is absolutely no way in this day and age that my daughters are going to be in a modern public high school that is considered, that's got like one cop out front and faulty alarm emergency systems and all this stuff. My daughters are going to be, I'm going to have constant contact with my daughters until they are out of high school. They are going to be tethered to my wife, to me, to the police, to fire, whatever they need. The hell with Kathy Hochul and her role. My daughters are responsible. My daughters are good students. They're great students. I know not every student is a great student. I know not every child is responsible. But I'm sorry, there is no way I'm sending my daughters into a high school in the year 2025, 2026 with all of the insanity out there and all of the craziness and all of the danger. There is no way that they are going to be unable to contact me or my wife or emergency services. The dopes that are in charge of school security these days, from the superintendents on down. My school district last year had, or year before, had over the course of about a month, it was about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, wasn't quite 6 weeks, wasn't quite a month and a half. Over the course of 5 weeks, they had about 6 false alarms, false lockdowns, lockdown code. And by the way, in the process of, because you had some loudmouth parents, I don't know where you'd find them. I don't know who they were, but you had some parents with connections to the media. I don't know who that could have been. I forget who had the connection. Oh, yeah, right. In our school district that let everybody know about this. And in explaining the mistakes, the stupid superintendent at the time gave away the secrets, actually talked about the security measures and how they set off the alarms. Yeah. All right. I knew I only had a couple of minutes there in between, so we're going to take one final break here, gang. I got those couple of stories and see how I did that? I'm becoming a professional. We shall be right back to close out the show and hand you off to Liz Radabali with the 5 a.m. newscast. It's me, TJ, on another side of midnight here on 77 WABC. Be right back.
It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormick.
Good morning, y'all. It is 4:51 here on 77 WABC from Midtown Manhattan. I love how the streets remain alive, even if it's just barely breathing throughout this broadcast. It's cool to look out and see New York City humming, and to also take a look over at Twitter. It's nice. Over on X, we've got a great burrow of the family over there who participate in their own way over on at TJ McCormick, and I'm so grateful that you're all there. Patty in Mamaroneck, in my neck of the woods in Westchester County, she chimed in, did Patty, a little while ago, and I'm sorry I missed it at the time there, Patty, but she was talking about how they saw red and green lights going between the stars back and forth back in the day. She said almost playing like a game of tag one time. And, she said her grandmother had told the story about these orbs going down a country road. So Patty getting in on the UFO conversation a little while ago. And, everybody's over there. Yet is there. Nancy is now following. Bernays Sauce. Catherine, Mayberry Sheriff Barney Fife is there. Well, and Barney Fife is there. I'm gonna go see, what was his girlfriend's name? Betty Lou? You guys are so on it. Gonna go see Thelma Lou tonight at the dance. Well, Andy, how's the show going, TJ? Not bad, thank you. Oh, Barn. Gotta have it.
Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah.
Starring Andy Griffith with Ronnie Howard. Also starring Don Knotts.
Yeah. Gonna be a good show, Barn. You're darn right, and TJ, go and talk about UFOs tonight. Why don't you, TJ? All right. Anyway, so Barney Fife sounds like a cokehead with all that sniffing. Hey, and I'm gonna just go around and see Thelma Lou, maybe do a bump. Anyway,
as if on cue, the Foster family from Pomeroy, Ohio showed up.
Otis the drunk would bring in blow. That's what happened. Otis had a little bit of weed in his pocket, some blow, and then Barney got a little too busy. Well, we had to search Otis, and turns out he had a substance with him. I wasn't quite sure what it was, so I took a little sniff and smelled it, and it smelled good, Aunt. Mike in South Carolina. Let's do our religious duty here and speak with Mike, who plays. You don't play. You corrected me. They are. What are they? What was that you played? And I said congos or.
Okay. No, that's all right. You said it. I haven't sat behind a set of drums in decades. It's just a German wood grain conga on a tripod.
It is a conga. It is a conga. Yes, okay, I called it a bongo or something.
And my girlfriend calls the drum Fräulein.
Oh, because it's German made. I love it. How are you? How are you this morning?
I'm doing good, TJ. Always good. You had me laughing before. You did a good imitation of Barney Fife. Nip it in the bud.
Nip it in the bud, Aunt.
You know, I know you're short on time. I was talking to the guy working the phones. My cousin's good friends with John Catsimatidis, you know, and I'm glad John Catsimatidis opened up a slot for you because you got talent, you got a nice resume.
Thank you.
And too bad, like I said yesterday. Too bad that guy didn't call back. I forgot his name. Who was crying on the phone and
Yeah, Keith. We're still waiting for Keith. And also yesterday we had. I want to say it was Rob from New Jersey. I want to say it was Rob who had a cluttering issue. I'm hoping he got a hold of Clutterers Anonymous. Yeah,
because you know what? You're giving hope to people. I said this many times to friends and even on the air. A couple of times. There's two kinds of people in this world.
Yeah.
There are givers and there are takers. I'm a giver. And anybody who volunteers like I did, I take my hat off to you.
What'd you do? How'd you volunteer, buddy? What'd you do?
Well, with Sandy in Long Beach Boardwalk, I was Red Cross. And who do I meet at Long Beach Boardwalk a couple of times? I got to mention that to Rita. The late, great Bernard McGurk.
Oh, wow. Oh, rest his soul. Rest his soul.
Yeah, man. But you got the mojo, TJ.
Thank you,
and I'm glad you point out to people, Stunads, that call. Don't ever call my show again.
Yes.
Stunad.
Thank you, Mike. God bless. Have a great rest of your Sunday. 'Tis the Lord's day. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. There you go. So on the heels of that, so let me catch you guys up. So we've got this story. It's been cooking. Rita's covered the daylights out of it every night. I'm quite sure it was, on, Katz and Cosby. They were talking about this, shelter here in New York City that's solely for, transgender people. And, it reminded me of this story that I was telling you guys a couple of weeks ago up in my neck of the woods. We have our development, our community, our neighborhood association has a pool, and a fella showed up at the pool a couple of weeks ago, as I told you, and he showed up, he was wearing a bikini. He was wearing a thong bikini. And this guy apparently drew more attention than just my concern and the stares and flabbergasted looks from 7 and 8 year olds in the pool looking at this fellow, a dude, and not in any sort of trans situation. This guy there is no transition happening. I guarantee you that. It's quite obvious there is no transition happening. Anyway, everybody, it turns out somebody had complained to the security, somebody had complained to the neighborhood association, to the homeowners association, and turns out that the guy, and I say guy, there's no pronouns here. This guy's not any attempt, he has a shaved head. he's not transitioning. He's not becoming a woman. He's a dude wearing a woman's skimpy thong bikini at this family pool in the middle of the day. He doesn't even live here. Doesn't live in our neighborhood. He was there with his mom. And turns out, because we had talked about this on the show, here's the upshot. The board of the homeowners association decides they're going to build they have to build a non-gender bathroom for this guy who doesn't even live there. I don't know. I had mentioned it earlier in the show. I told you that I was going to give you the follow-up. I want to give it I don't want to leave it hanging because I told you we were going to do that. So I just want to let you know that is the state of affairs in Westchester County in New York these days, that a homeowners association is going to build a gender-neutral bathroom for somebody who is not gender neutral and doesn't even live there. Praise Jesus. There we go. All right, gang. Listen, this is gang, thank you for a fantastic week of broadcasting. I had the opportunity to fill in for Lionel earlier this week. That was fantastic. My thanks to Lionel for entrusting me. And my sincere thanks once again to John Katsimatidis, Chad Lopez, every decision maker here who allows me to come behind this microphone, this legendary legacy microphone, and to be supported by great dudes like Tony and Bill. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kevin, all the powers that be here, thank you. Liz Radabali, who I get to hand it off to. Dr. Sky, who joined me earlier in the program as a thank you. My neighbor who precedes me every weekend here. And as I said, we're going to hand it off to Liz with the 5 a.m. newscast. Everybody, all of you listening, you are absolutely a gift. Thank you so much. I'm headed down the shore, going to see my girls. I will be...
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized, so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.